JP Singh is an engineering graduate working as an environmentalist to create awareness for the adoption of blue solar energy. He is the founder of JP Consultant, which is a solar consulting firm for implementing solar power plant. He is having more than 11 years of experience in national and international projects. Through 7 megawatt projects, he has been able to serve for the reduction of around 78,000 metric tons of carbon reduction. He is passionate for writing and speaking. He has spoken at various prestigious platforms, and many of his articles are published in the leading solar magazines and media like NDTV, ET, Energy World, Malcolm Communications, EQ International, Renewable Mirror, etc. He has spoken at many prestigious platforms like the Indian Institute of Architecture, Griha, FSAI, Industrial Energy Show, and Toastmaster, etc. He believes that that it is the need of the hour to create a blue solar revolution to save the Mother Earth from global warming. So, sir, on behalf of CBIP and the participants from the various utilities, we welcome you, sir.
थैंक यू सो मच जयदीप जी। आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं?
Yes, sir.
थैंक यू सर,
You are
थैंक
audible.
यू। First of all, thank you so much. A very good evening and very warm welcome to all the members and the dignitaries. सभी को नमस्कार। Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share something which I have learned over a period of my journey with the solar energy. It is wonderful to conduct this program with CBIP. And as mentioned, as we were discussing that professionals from the respected fields, from the very reputed organizations are joining this program. So it gives me a very high sense of responsibility to share the knowledge in such a way so that this knowledge can be utilized for the implementation of the solar energy project. And that would be the ultimate objective to enable and empower for the adoption and embracing of the solar energy. So in this way we start. So I just wish to ask, is it okay to go only with English, or is it better to have Hindi plus English version so that we have the mix of the languages? So can we have both the languages, Jaideep ji?
Sir, you can. I think not an issue for the participants, but most of the time you try to speak in English because
Okay. Mhm.
the participant. I think some few participants are, although they are based in India, but they are joining various other countries. I think.
Got it, sir. Got it. So I would be mostly in English, and
Yes.
part of the
Thank you.
conversation would be in Hindi, so to get the touch and the
Yes.
essence. So today, I just wish to, and first of all, I just wish to request all the participants. I could read out some of the names: Parveen Jagdale ji, Vijay Renu ji, and Aditya Tapkir ji. And there are some other participants. I just wish to take few names: Bala Gopal ji, Barj Rohan ji, Vishwajit Biswal ji, Manoj Kumar ji, Bapun Kumar ji, Pradeep ji, and Bitra ji. I just wish to request you that please make this session interactive, because if we are interactive in this session, we would be able to exchange more. And as said in a very powerful quote, that if we wish to evolve, we have to involve. So with this message, we start today's session, and let's be more interactive so that we are able to meet our objective and we gain maximum to the capacity. So here we start our session. So as we were doing this planning for this session, Jaydeep ji told me that we are looking forward to have a session on which we are able to figure out the load calculations, how to determine the load calculations for a solar PV plant. And then he told me that we also need to have how to conduct the site survey, which are the things which need to be taken care in the site survey. And also we need to do what are the points which need to be taken care in the site layout preparation. So when we were discussing about this, I realized that first and the foremost thing is to have the clarity on the design side, because if we have the clarity on the design side, then we can think about the preparation of the layout. Then we are equipped to go on the site and check what are the parameters that we need to take care, what are the parameters that we need to observe. So I think that it is first and the foremost thing is to understand the design basics and then move forward. So मैं इस सेशन को बड़ा इंटरेक्टिव रखूंगा एंड आई वुड ट्राई टू कीप इट इन ए वेरी सिंपल मैनर एनालॉजी के तौर पे. My intent is that all the technical jargons should not complicate the subject. All the things should be simple. All the things should be put forward in a very simplified manner so that we all can have a better clarity of it. So first of all, we start with the design presentation side. So what are the parameters that we need to check out? And I will also touch upon, मैं थोड़ा थोड़ा सा उनके बेसिक्स के ऊपर भी टच अपॉन करूंगा so that there could be some participants who have already very good knowledge about, but there could be some who don't have the basics in the place. So my intent is to make sure that all of us have on the same page and all of us doesn't miss anything. So here we start with the first presentation. So is my screen visible to you, Jaideep ji?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So here we
But
start with,
kindly
yeah,
make it on present. Ha, yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah,
Fine.
I have done it. Yeah. So first of all, I just wish to begin with the design aspects of the solar power plants. So here we are touching upon the basics, and the first and the foremost basic is, so as we are going to deal with how to do the site survey, how to check the site layout. फर्स्ट एंड द foremost थिंग इज कि जब हम जा रहे हैं साइट पे तो हमें बड़ी क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए कि For an example, if you see on the left hand side, industrial tin shed, if you go for any industrial kind of building, it could be an industrial tin shed. So here the kind of installation is different. The panels are mounted on the tin shed in a flush manner. So here the parameters are different to check. The second is RCC rooftop. This is the most common type of installation. Here the panels are placed on the rooftop. The third type of installation is the raised type of structure. Why the raised type of structure? Raised type of structure is prepared so that we can utilize the space which is below the panels. In the second option, which is RCC rooftop, you can see that there is no space which can be used on the rooftop. If they have to conduct any activity, there is no place for any such activity. But if we have the raised structure, you can see that some gentlemen are already standing below the panels. So if they wish to build up a store, if they wish to build up a recreational space, they can build there. There is no problem. The fourth type of structure is the ballast type of structure. Here, there is no difference between the RCC rooftop and the ballast structure. The only difference is that if someone says that I wish to not puncture my slab. In that case, the civil blocks, concrete blocks can be utilized to create a dead load. So this is the ballast type of structure. Now there are two more applications or two more type of installations. The first installation is domestic carport. In this kind of installation is very popular in the farmhouses or very large size houses where the space for the parking is available. Now, this you can see that this particular location is covering the roof for one car. Now, this particular size of the plant is 10 kilowatt. So here, if we have to measure the layout, here if we have to do the survey, the particulars would be different from the RCC rooftop. Next, we have the commercial carport. This is the 5 megawatt project of the Maruti in Manesar. In this particular thing, you can see here that there is no roof existing in this layout. It is done on the ground, and also here the parameters of checking are different. So first of all, I have touched upon that what could be the different kinds of installation. Now we will
Sir,
check
sorry,
upon,
sorry to interrupt
there is
you.
some noise in,
I just
there is some
request all the
street noise of
participants.
some baby there.
So, I would like to request all the participants kindly make yourself in mute position.
Yeah,
That's fine.
now it is. Now
Thank
that's fine. Thank you so much for the cooperation. Now, first and the foremost thing is know the sun before harvesting it. Now, as we know that sun is available from the morning till evening, so we are quite familiar with this. But there is a term in the industry which is called as irradiance. If we have to measure what we are getting from the sun, then we talk about in terms of irradiance. And irradiance is actually a light which we are getting from the sun. Sun gives us two components. One is the light and second is the heat. Solar PV technology utilizes the light component of the sun, and whereas the solar thermal technology utilizes the heat component of the sun. So whatever the solar water heater you are seeing or whatever the concentrated solar thermal system you are seeing, they are utilizing the heat component, and whereas the solar PV system utilizes the light component. The Hindi name of the solar PV system is Prakash Volt Urja. Prakash means the light. So here the light is converted into the electricity, and irradiance is the measure of that light. The maximum irradiance which we get from the sun is 1000 watt per square meter. एक स्क्वायर मीटर के एरिया के अंदर हमें 1000 वाट मैक्सिमम मिलता है. एंड उसमें भी अगर आप ये कर्व देखेंगे, दिस कर्व इलुस्ट्रेट्स दैट हाउ वी आर गेटिंग द पावर थ्रू आउट द डे. In the morning, on the left hand side, you can see that we are getting very less power, and as the day progresses, you can see here that the curve is going up and up and up, and around 11 to 2 p.m., it at 11 a.m. till 2 p.m., it we are getting the maximum, and this maximum curved area is called peak sun hours. So this determines that what is the proportion of the light, what is the proportion of the power we are getting. So for an example, in Delhi, the peak sun hour is approximately 5 5 के आसपास रहता है. So that shows that we are going to get somewhat about 5 kilowatt hour per square meter of the area. Now the second thing is different kind of solar structures. So we have seen in the beginning that there are different kind of structures. First is the fixed type structure, second is the ballast type structure, third is the tin shed type structure. We have a very brief introduction in the opening. Now we will see what they are in the detail. So as I have, why this is important to understand? Because these are the parameters which need to be taken care while doing the site survey and the layout planning. So in the fixed type of structure, you can see that the panels are mounted on the structure and the columns are grouted in the slab. बहुत ही परमानेंट तौर पे स्ट्रक्चर को स्लैब के अंदर ग्राउट कर दिया जाता है फास्टनर्स को लगा के. आप उसको बिल्कुल भी हिला नहीं सकते, और जिस प्रकार से फास्टनर्स लगाए जाते हैं स्लैब के अंदर, दे रिमेन देयर फॉर इन द परमानेंट स्टेट, एंड दिस ब्लॉक इज क्रिएटेड once the fasteners have been done. After the fastener, this block ensures that the dead load is there and wind will not affect the position of the panels, and panels will remain intact against the pressure of the wind. The second type of this is again the picture of the fixed type structure. Here we have shown that how these civil blocks are casted after the installation of the fasteners. Now the second type is the ballast type structure. As we have shown that this civil block is placed on the structure itself. Now the purpose of the civil block is to create a dead weight. You will remember that whenever we are on the terrace and we have something जो हवा के प्रेशर से उड़ रही है, तो हम उसके ऊपर कोई भारी ऑब्जेक्ट रख देते हैं. We put some heavy object on it. The purpose of putting up the heavy objects on it is simply to create a dead weight. Now these civil blocks are put on the structure, and as they are on the structure, they are creating the dead weight, and no pressure of the wind will affect the position of the panels. This is again, the different types of arrangement. You can see this is a very heavy block of the concrete. Now, this is the third type, tin shed type structure. In this particular case, there is no RCC roof. आपका कोई सीमेंट का स्लैब नहीं है. Now, this is the tin shed जिसमें आपकी ट्रेपेजियल शीट लगी होती है. The structure is like the columns, then the rafters, and then the purlins. Now, these panels are placed on the sheet. So here we need to see the different kinds of arrangements कि किस प्रकार से उसका structure built up हुआ है, and accordingly we can plan for the layout of the panels. Now you can see here in this particular pic कि किस प्रकार से these are called long rails. Here you can see this long rail is placed throughout the sheet, and the panels are mounted on the top of this long rail. Now this is the fourth type of structure, which is called race type. Here you can see it is not different from the RCC rooftop. It is quite similar to it is quite similar to this kind of structure. The only difference is that the initial clearance from the ground, यहाँ पे जो आप clearance देख रहे हैं, initial clearance from the ground is slightly different and it is much higher than the normal case. So यहाँ पे आप देखते हैं the average gentleman height is somewhat about 1865 mm and he can easily go below the panel. So it means there is an ample space which is about 6 feet in high that can be utilized for any kind of purpose. So this was about the basics, that what kind of structures are there, what kind of installations are there, and what kinds of fixing mechanism is there. If there is any doubt to any participant, any clarification which a participant seeks, kindly let me know, so that before jumping to the next section, we will have clarity on that. So I request all the participants to kindly share if they have any doubt or any inquiry.